my god. What is going on, guys? It's Atomic Nikki back again, and I'm doing my Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Hardened Edition unboxing video as requested by the Diamond Dude. Shout out to him. This is being filmed on the 2-week anniversary, like to the day, of Black Ops 3 coming out, and I have of course played the game, so this is actually open, but I'm going to show you what it was like when I got it. So this was one step up from the standard edition, which came with Nuketown depending on where you bought it from, and one big notch down from the Juggernaut edition, which of course came with a small refrigerator and season pass amongst other things. But I felt like this was definitely worth the extra $10 or so. And just to compare the size of this particular Hardened Edition to the previous Black Ops Hardened Edition, which was Black Ops 2, this is the difference. Now granted, you did get some different stuff with the Black Ops 2 Hardened Edition, including some coins and a wristband, I think, and some other stuff, but that gives you a really clear indication of our size and how far we've come in terms of retail presentation and sleekness. Yeah. Anyway, and let's just get into it, and I'll open it up and show you what it has. Okay, let's start with the obvious part. This is the steelbook from inside, and this is where you will find your game and your code. So there's the side and there's the back, which looks very, very cool. I believe that is a zombie from the Zombies edition. That's your multiplayer. You'll see him a lot on the multiplayer menu when you're loading. And let's open it up and have a look inside. So here, of course, we have the game. It's rated R in Australia if you're from overseas. And over here, you have three bits of information, but one is just the little terms and conditions. So we have an ad here just to grab the season pass for Black Ops 3 if you want to do that. And then on the back here, there's an ad for Call of Duty Heroes if you want to play that game. And that's pretty much it for that piece of paper. This one is the one you're after. So this is the Nuketown codes, the Giant Zombies map code, and the 2 personalization pack codes, as well as the digital soundtrack download code. So that's inside here, and I won't show you that because I actually haven't used them all yet. I still need to use my download code for the soundtrack, but I've used the rest. Now, Nuketown is a 600 megabyte download. The Zombies map is about the same. So when you get the game, just be prepared, you have to download a lot. Oh, and there's also patches as well, so there's a lot to download straight up. So just be prepared that unless you have, I have a very fast internet connection, thankfully, but if you don't, just factor that into your time when you pick it up. So you might want to pick it up, put it in, download your stuff in advance of playing, and then you'll be able to play it later when you actually want to sit down and play it. One thing I wanted to mention, the 2 personalization packs. In previous Call of Duties, when you get this free special camos or whatever, no one ends up using them because everyone has them and they seem to be like less special or whatever. But you know, you do see some people use them eventually. As soon as they unlock gold, they stop using them. But like on the first day, they're kind of everywhere and people just stop using them, and yeah. One thing I have noticed though, this Weaponized 115 personalization pack, specifically the green camo, is so widely used, it is crazy. In the first, I'd say 4 days of the game, every gun that had a camo was this camo. Despite everyone actually being able to have it, and there being no like, you know, specific challenge you've done to unlock it, like you did all the headshots, or you've unlocked all the camo so you have gold, you've got diamond. Everyone is using the green and it looks so cool. It's this really, really bright green. You can't really tell in the picture, but it is such a bright green, and on LMGs it looks so cool because the whole LMG is just like this giant, like toxic green looking thing. It's just awesome. So that is one really strange thing about this game over other Call of Duties, that nearly everyone is using this particular camo even now. So like the game's been out for 2 weeks to the day exactly today in Australia, and even though people are unlocking gold, some people have diamond camos already as well, you're still seeing at least, I'd say, 2 to 3 people per game using this green camo. It's just that popular. It is such a great camo to have, and it would be, if you didn't get it for free, this would be one that everyone was gunning for. So that is the steelbook that you get with it. That's the obvious stuff out of the way, so let's put that to the side. And you get one other thing in here, which is this. Now these are, I'll just show you first. It's still stuck. These are the limited edition specialist art cards. Unlike previous Call of Duties, in Black Ops 3, you basically have to choose between one of 9 different specialists to play as your character. So you don't get to like create a character or whatever. You pick from 9 models, I guess, and you unlock them at different levels. I think you have 5 to pick from up front, and then there's 4 as you go along that you can unlock. So you'll see these all over the joint, and you'll get to know them pretty quickly, but it's very confusing at first because we've never had something like this. But once you kind of wrap your head around it, it's very, very cool and adds this totally extra dimension to play. So each of these specialist cards has a bio on the back and the 2 abilities. And the bio is the same bio in-game. So you can have a read of it there, or you can have a read of it on these cards. And you get an expanded bio in the game the more camos you unlock and the more kills you get with each specialist. So straight up we have the Firebreak. Now he's actually the last one you unlock, so you won't see him for a while for yourself, but you probably will see him around in the games. He has 2 abilities, of course, Heatwave and Purifier. Purifier is definitely the more popular ability of the Firebreak, and that is the flamethrower that you have seen in the clips online. So that's one. And then we have the Nomad with his bio, and then his 2 abilities, which are Rejack, which brings you back to life, and Hive. Hive is definitely the most popular move for the Nomad, and it plants these little nano drone bee-like hives everywhere, and when an enemy steps into them they get eaten alive. Very, very cool and very, very gross. So next up we have the Battery, and she has 2 abilities again, which are the Kinetic Armor ability, which renders you immune to bullets basically, apart from headshots, for a period of time, and War Machine, which is a grenade launcher. Incredibly popular, incredibly powerful. I strongly recommend using that if you are using the Battery. And then next up we have the Outrider, aka Katniss, with her bow and arrow, and her 2 attacks are Vision Pulse and Sparrow, which shoots arrows that are 1-hit kills. This is very popular. A lot of people are using it. A lot of people also find it very difficult to use, so you need to find out if this is for you or not. But it's very, very cool, and it makes a very cool sound, which is kind of a strange thing to say, but it's very cool. Did I mention she's cool? Anyway, so that's the Outrider. And then we have my personal favorite, the Reaper. And his 2 abilities are Psychosis, which clones you for a period of time to confuse enemies, and your clones run around the map. It's very cool. And Scythe, which is by far the best specialist weapon there is, in my opinion, which is like a little minigun. And it's so powerful, in fact it's actually just been nerfed today in a patch, and it's gone from 200 bullets to 160 bullets, but even still you get a ton of kills with it. It's just awesome. So when you can unlock him, I strongly suggest you do. And next up we have, by far the most popular specialist in the game, the Ruin. And the reason the Ruin is the most popular is because of his attack gravity spikes. It is so powerful, it is so easy to use, and it can get you a huge amount of kills. And basically you get these 2 charges and you drive them into the ground, it creates a shockwave and kills everyone within that radius. Very powerful, very strong again, and very easy to use, and a great panic button for an objective game mode. Like if you're on a domination flag or in a hard point and you suddenly need to flush enemies out, gravity spikes to your friend. There's also Overdrive, which is my personal favorite like hidden gem of the specialist abilities, which makes you run really fast. It sounds really strange, but once you get used to it, it can be really hard to stop you when you are using Overdrive. It's just an incredibly specific yet very powerful ability, and that is the Ruin. Oh, and by the way, the Ruin is the first specialist you'll see when you play the game, and he's one of the first 5 you have that you can unlock when you start the game, and I strongly suggest you start with him, and I strongly suggest you begin with Gravity Spikes in particular. Okay, next up we have the Prophet. Now the Prophet is also one of the first 5 that you get, but I believe he's actually the hardest one to use of any of the actual specialists, and I will explain why. He has 2 abilities, Tempest and Glitch, and the Tempest is a gun that's a one-hit kill, which sounds very awesome, and it is, but there's a 1-second delay when you shoot it, and that 1-second delay can be the difference between you getting a kill and you being killed. So you need to be really aware of this when you use it, and it's sort of something you need to work up to. It can be incredibly difficult to use. You can't need to use it when an enemy's not looking or when you caught an enemy off guard, and it's just one you need to wrap your head around. It can be quite difficult. Glitch is the second ability, and basically what happens with Glitch is that you go back about 5 seconds to where you were on the map from the position where you once were. It basically takes you back in time. It sounds very cool. I also thought it was very cool until I started using it and being killed immediately after I glitch, because it kind of leaves a trail to where you're going to end up, and it's very easy to follow. So you need to be a very good Call of Duty player by the time you use either the Glitch or the Tempest, so I would suggest leaving the Prophet till a lot later. Okay, next up we have the Seraph. Now she's the first one you unlock after the first 5 at level, I think it's 22. And she has 2 abilities again, which are Combat Focus and the Annihilator. Now the Annihilator is the golden gun, as it's been referred to in Black Ops 3, which is a one-hit kill pistol. And I strongly suggest that you play with that if you unlock her or you decide you want to unlock her. Because again, you're almost guaranteed to kill every time you use it. And then Combat Focus is a little more difficult to use, and it's a little more difficult to explain. In short, when you're about to get score streaks, you flick on Combat Focus and then you'll get more points towards your score streaks again. So it's kind of like it makes the rich richer, but it's not that simple, and it's a bit more complicated than that. That is the Seraph anyway. And the final specialist, which is the second last one you unlock, is the Spectre. Now he has 2 abilities again, which are Active Camo, which renders you invisible for a short period of time, which is very cool, and the Ripper, which is like a short range dual blade stabbing attack, which is like a one-hit kill. It's kind of like the knife that we used to have, but now we don't have unless you equip it as a secondary. So if you don't want to equip the knife as a secondary, but you would like to have that option, the Ripper is your friend. I believe it's actually the only short-range specialist weapon, so you have to be really ready to get amongst it, get into the fray, otherwise you'll get 0 kills with it, especially if you're one of those players that likes to hang back and shoot people from a distance. So that is the Hardened Edition unboxing, and that's what you get. So these cards are very cool when you first start, if you want a quick reference to what someone is playing as, or when your character calls out Firebreak down, what's the Firebreak or who's the Firebreak, it's that guy. And between the art cards and then the special camos, that green camo in particular, I really think that this was worth it, 100%. I absolutely loved it, and I love playing it, and I can't wait to actually get back and start playing it again. And yeah, so thanks for watching this video. Thumbs up if you liked it, and leave a comment to which specialist you've been playing as, or if you haven't got the game yet, which specialist you're most interested in playing as. And I'll see you next time with my first proper Black Ops 3 gameplay video. So subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you then. Bye.